Hello everyone, I am Tara the Fox, and welcome back to more Let's Play The Red String of Fate, the final episode. Yep, this episode should be kind of short enough where I can pull in both endings. And we are reaching near the end, so might as well do that. And last time, in the previous episode, we just told Aaron that we could see the Red String of Fate, and he calls bullshit on us. Pretty much. And we told him, we'll ask Luke, he knows about the Red String of Fate, because he's one too, and Luke is right here, and he seems pretty pissed off at us. But, let us see where this continues on. Let's see what happens. I still can't believe you told him. Honestly, I can't believe it either. But I did, and it's probably too late for regrets. Are you mad at me? Annoyed? Disappointed? I was at first. But I guess I'm not the only one with the secret. It was your choice if you wanted to tell him about your ability. I sighed, ducking my head, unable to meet Luke's eyes. I didn't need to bring you into it, though. I'm sorry for exposing your secret. Luke exhales loudly, and he rubs the back of his neck, looking away from me. Yeah, well, I can see why you did that. You probably would have been carted off to the nearest mental hospital if it weren't for me. Pretty hard for anyone to believe that a person isn't mad when she is the only one who claims to see something that isn't supposed to exist. I probably would have thrown you to the wolves too if I were the one who wanted to tell my future partner about my biggest, strangest secret. Future? I check out the offending words that Luke just said, shooting him a glare that could make a lesser man drop dead of fright. Luke merely grins, raising his hands in mock defeat. Alright, best friend then. I opened my mouth to berate him for his terrible joke, but I sigh instead. I guess it's a good thing that you're making jokes at my expense, better than ignore me out of fury. Luke's lips curve upward into a gentle smile. I'm not angry, Val. Your choice may not have been one I would have made personally, but I do understand why you did what you did. That's a burden, what you and I can see. I lower my head, hiding my surprise at Luke's sudden willingness to talk about Red Strings of Fate openly with me. Maybe I'm not the only one who has grown tired of the secrecy. I let out a long sigh, drawing hearts one after another on the table with a finger. I don't know why I even did that. It just came out. It felt right. At first I was just going to be kidding. It came up, and I think I almost felt bad for lying to him when he trusted me so much. So I was just going to say the truth before quickly playing it off as a joke. I don't know what happened. Maybe I shouldn't have told him. How did the conversation with Aaron go anyway? From the way you called me half panicked at like 2 in the morning yesterday, I'm guessing he called you about it really late. Yes, he did. Excuse me. We talked for a while. Oh? About what? The red strings, of course. Soulmates, love, our past and memories. I feel a pang of envy despite myself at his words. Aaron had so little to say to me, and the conversation tapered off near immediately after my confession. How could Aaron have talked to Luke about red strings for such a long time? I grit my teeth, realizing how foolish and unwarranted my train of thought is. What is up with me these days? I suppose stress and shock really do bring two people closer together. It's weird, but I feel a bit closer to Aaron now. How strange. I lick my lips and glance from side to side, fumbling in my head for anything to say to change the subject. I hate to say this, but I'm almost glad you told Aaron. I'm definitely glad that of all people you chose Aaron, of course, but also... When's he getting here anyway? You said Aaron decided it would be best for all three of us to discuss the red strings together, so shouldn't he be here right now? I guess we were just here too early. Val. Surprise! Aaron suddenly rushes in, panting, and I'm not sure if his interruption comes as a relief to me or only causes further anxiety. A little bit of both, maybe. Whoa! Are you guys here already? Sorry I couldn't make it any earlier. My professor released us late. I didn't want to offend him by leaving early, and I was like, kind of a low-key like the subject. Seeing perhaps the expression on our faces, he sputters to a stop. Sorry? Don't be. You're a minute early. Aaron exhales audibly and nods before letting his expression sink. Oh, good. Good. So, Red strings and stuff, huh? He glances briefly at his pinky finger, and my heart almost stops. Has Luke told him that? I apologize about your soul. Oh no! Shh. What? You don't need to tell me about my soulmate days. Luke didn't tell him about his broken string? Why not? If they talked for a while, I'm sure the topic of Aaron's soulmate would have come up at some point, right? As if reading my mind, Luke chimes in. He didn't want to know from the get-go. Oh yeah, that's right. Of course I'm curious about my soulmates and stuff, but like, whoever they are, wherever they are, doesn't matter to me. Whether they're right by my side on the other side of the continent or buried 6 feet deep underground, I don't care. I told Luke that when he asked me if I wanted to know about my string. Oh? He grins at me, almost sheepishly, and scratches his chin nervously. I told you myself, didn't I? Back when I thought I was talking about something completely abstract and theoretical and stuff? It'd be hypocritical to go back on those words now that I know the strings are real. He knows the strings are real? So Luke has succeeded in convincing him, huh? Above all, I love the idea of fostering my own fate. I have someone I want to pursue. There's no way we're tied together by a string, but that doesn't matter to me. I'd like to try my best anyway. And I need to add, Valerie, I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry I didn't believe you when you brought it up, and I don't remember much since I was in full panic mode. I probably reacted badly. You didn't. Don't worry about it. Of course I secretly wish he had believed me immediately, without even having to ask Luke to support my claims. As original as the desire probably is, I would certainly have preferred it, yes. Or at least for him to not have shown as much outright disbelief as he did. But that's not what happened, and I should be grateful he believes me at all. Anyone would have thought I was kidding or delusional, or high. I shrugged. I should have impressed you. I should be impressed you took me seriously at all. Still, I want to make it up to you. Do you happen to have any other spectacular impossible to believe secrets? I promise I'll accept them and believe you utterly and completely without so much as a blink first. I chuckled to myself. Nope, nothing of the sort. Bearing red strings, I'm your average, everyday girl. That's kind of hard thing to just bear. But alright. Really though, from now on, I want to be someone you can rely on wholeheartedly. Someone you can expect to be on your side and trust no matter the circumstances. Someone who you can lean on in times of distress. Alright. Do you actually believe the far-fetched story about red strings now, though? I do. At least I think I do. And that's good enough for a start, right? At the very least, I believe you more than I did the moment you told me. I needed time, and then some to process things and think through what you told me. Maybe I shouldn't, and God only knows why, but I really do trust you. Granted, I must admit there's a small part of me that still whispers that you guys are playing some weird trick on me, a game of how gullible is Aaron. We're not, I promise. Luke touches Aaron's shoulder gently before immediately moving away. Yeah, don't worry, I believe you. Anyway, if you are, well, there's still no harm being done. Yay, you guys pulled a trick on me and succeeded. Yay, you guys get a quick laughing and I get a moment of embarrassment. But in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't matter to me that much. I'd rather trust you guys and be teased for it if I'm wrong. Then, well, refuse to believe your words when both of you guys seem so invested. Honest. I guess I'm worse than those elementary schoolers who actually look up at the ceiling to see if the word gullible is written on it. Which, by the way, I never did. I can't refrain from teasing him despite the heavy atmosphere. Somehow I doubt that. Hey, no, I swear it! I swear my entire collection of games, okay? You can only swear it because Luke and I have no way of proving you're wrong regardless of the truth. But what? No! I can practically see the gears turning in his head as he tries to think of a new way to steer the conversation. Anyway, I need to send a million thanks and blessings to Luke. I felt self-conscious and nervous approaching you after what happened before. But thankfully, Luke was there to forcefully shove me into doing the right thing. It was more like a gentle push. As you wish. A gentle push, then. I really am grateful, though. You're important to me, Val, and I'd have hated it if my doubts and anxiety drove us apart. I didn't convince you to do anything. You wouldn't have done anyway in the end. I just hurried you along by the few days. Still! You easily deserve a trophy for best moral support of the century. It's what friends do or something. And a trophy for best friend of the century too. Hey, wait, what about me? I thought you said I'm your bestest best friend. You said that word for word. Well, yes, you are, but you're also a little more than... Oh. Oh! Perhaps I should have said that, even as a joke. But I almost feel a sense of flattery at how overt he is with his affections, despite his attempts to hide them. His transparency is pleasant. I almost feel disappointed, then surprised at myself for it, when he shakes his head, laughs, and brushes off whatever he's thinking. You're the mega ultra best pal friend, Val, of course. That's what you'll get the trophy for. What else could you be? My trophy sounds suddenly much less impressive. You can't join her in this, Luke. Stop! After a second of hesitation, I snort. I think you forgot a second mega in there somewhere, though. No, you're not quite that awesome. Who was saying they wanted to be someone I could rely on wholeheartedly again? Remind me. Talk about unfair! Aaron feigns a melodramatic sigh. Okay, Val, you're my mega ultra best pal friend. Happy? I can't help but giggle at my new long title. Yes. Weirdo. I pretend not to hear his quiet mumble and continue grinning at him. Anyway, what now? What should we do now? Is there anything I could do to help you guys with the whole red string thing? I know Luke already said there wasn't anything I could do, but Val, if you can think of anything, I'm here for you. Don't worry about it. As long as you know what I'm going through, as long as you believe me, that's enough. That's more than enough. Surprisingly, I'm not lying. In reality, telling Aaron has no inherent benefits. It's not like he could do anything about the strings or my soulmate. At the same time, though, having someone believe me when they have absolutely no reason to do so, and having Aaron agree to start seeing things from my perspective, despite how ridiculous it may seem. It feels comforting, reassuring. I glance at Luke, and he makes a slightly reassuring smile before nodding at me. Perhaps he feels the same way. In fact, if you brought up red strings constantly, I would think that'd be overkill. This is one of those situations where I hugely prefer silent support over active, but vain attempts at help, I think. Alright. If you need anything from me, though, just say it. Yeah. Thanks. Now, let's see. I dare say it's time for a group hug. Everybody's just like, oh god, no. Wait, what? What? Come on, admit it. Both of you are in desperate need of a hug. A million hugs. At least I can do is provide as many hugs as I can. I think you're just going to end up asphyxiating us. Then you guys won't need to think so much about sad things anymore. It's a win-win. Aaron opens his arms wide. Come on! Come on! This sounds like it'll be really awkward. That's the entire point of a group hug, or haven't you heard? Well, surprisingly, it's Luke's who is the first one to step closer and awkwardly pat Aaron's back in a sad attempt at one of those weird bro hugs. I roll my eyes in amusement. It's only half reluctantly that I join them. Group hug! A shame we don't see the group hug. That would have been funny to see. And here we are, back in our bedroom. With the penguin picture, and the cat pillow, and this thing. Aaron yawns for the millionth time this study session, and I chuckle. Don't die on me now. Not even temporarily? Nope. Pity, anything would be better than this. He gestures towards the books in his hand and the piles of papers and textbooks surrounding us. School is a special kind of hell, don't you think? For us, it's a necessary evil. Besides, I thought you were some kind of nerd who loves school. Aaron gives a low chuckle, sending me a glare without any venom. Did you just call me an academic nerd? Maybe. Admit it, though. You are one. Mr. I graduated high school early. He smirks in amusement and shakes his head. Only sometimes. Right now, I'm not feeling it. Seriously, from homework to projects to presentations to final prep to hackathons and interviews? When are we supposed to be able to sleep? When we're old and retired with a home and the money to play games all day? That's when? Okay, true enough. That's a great way to think about it. Of course you'd say that. He yawns again, and it almost hurts me to see the fatigue in his eyes, although I know I probably look the same way. I thought college was supposed to be the best time of your life. Adults are blatant liars. They want us to suffer just like they did in their youth, and what better way to do that than to lie about how good college is. Anyway, their generation was blessed. Get a diploma, get a splendid job, not like nowadays when even a 4.0 GPA doesn't mean squat. I mean, I don't actually think GPA matters all past a certain threshold. What matters are projects and internships. I roll my eyes, though I can't quite bite back a amused smile. Shush you, I'm winning over here. I think GPA does matter for my major, and quite a bit at that. If it really doesn't matter for you, you have no idea how jealous I am. Aw, sorry, Val. Do you want to play a round of Mario Kart or something to make up for it? As a stress reliever, I mean. There's something called, like, the tomato method or something where you're supposed to take a 5-minute break every hour or so. I need the break. I'm gonna die of boredom and sleep deprivation if this continues. Blah. I snort. Does he mean Pomodoro method? Never heard of either of those, viewers, so whatever those are, your guess is as good as mine. Unless you know it, then feel free to share in the comments. You know you're not going to stop in 5 minutes, right? Once we start, we won't be able to stop for at least an hour, and after that, it's going to take me a good hour longer until I can stop you. That's only happened every other time we've been distracted. It won't happen this time. Not with finals 3 days away. That's what you always say. Get back to your book and get back to the papers. Aaron grumbles a little more, and we both know he's not serious. Job prospects or not, he cares about his grades as much as I do. Our chatter is quickly replaced only by the sound of papers and pens. Despite the silence, his presence is comforting and motivates me to keep studying. Minutes pass, then hours, and I crack my neck from side to side when I'm done studying for my 3rd class. Stifling a yawn, I glance out the window. It's nighttime already. Hey, Aaron, it's late. Don't you need to get home before midnight? There's a beat of silence before I turn to look at him, wondering why he won't respond. As soon as I do, I chuckle and shake my head. He's already fast asleep. Not a surprise, really, considering how tired he has been the whole time. He gives an involuntary shiver in his sleep, and I frown in concern. Is it getting pretty cold in here? The heater doesn't work properly. Dorms are the worst, and I definitely should not be paying nearly as much as I am for the room. I consider lifting him up onto the bed, but quickly decide against it. I'm not nearly fit enough to lift up 100-something pounds of weight and gently put it back down to the bed. Besides, I fear even grabbing him may wake him up, and I would much rather him get some much-needed rest right now. He can complain all he likes and act like he's going to play games and sleep all day long, but it's obvious that if left to his own devices, he's going to deprive himself of sleep until he faints. Or, you know, fall asleep during exams, which may be worse. Still, I can't just leave him there. If he catches a cold just days before the finals, he's going to be miserable. I walk over to my closet and tiptoe until I can reach the plush blanket on the top shelf. It's something I brought to use as a second blanket on colder nights. Aww, that's nice. Instead of laying it over my bed, however, I crawl closer to Aaron and gently place it over Aaron's sleeping body to keep him warm. With my proximity to him, I can't help but notice his lashes and frown slightly in envy. His lashes are way longer than mine. This is completely unfair. Almost as soon as the blanket covers his body, Aaron begins to snore softly. I knit my brows in surprise, then laugh. In his sleep, he looks relaxed, blissful. Too bad the sounds he's making aren't quite so serene. Something about the situation feels comfortable, like home. I almost wish that this could go on forever. I almost think it can. Because of the angle with me and Aaron both facing the same direction, I can't even see his face, see his broken string. I almost forget all about it. Almost. But of course, the thoughts about red strings are almost as much part of me as my own name at this point, and they do return. And with these thoughts, the now familiar uncertainties and insecurities enter my mind as well. Why? Even after hours and hours of thinking until my head hurts, I come no closer to understanding why everything has happened the way it did. Why is Aaron's string broken? Why is mine invisible? Why can't I see the strings? I've always believed that everything happens for a reason, but what is the universe trying to accomplish? Why did all this have to happen? Especially the part about Aaron losing his soulmate. How is that fair? He deserves happiness just as much as everyone else does. More so, even, considering how pure and sweet he is. No, I shouldn't go down that path of thought again. It won't do anything but make me even sadder. I should focus on the situation at hand. How am I going to convince my roommate to let Aaron stay asleep here on the floor for the night so I don't have to wait for him to return home? What time is it even? I glance at my phone, checking the time, and tilt my head at the 11:11 that stares back at me. Wasn't there something about 11:11 and wishes? Excuse me. It may be a childish, silly thing to do, but I find myself closing my eyes just briefly, a wish forming in my head. A little luck never hurts anyone, right? What should I wish for? And with our final decision, and for the happy ending, we choose Aaron's happiness. It's strange. I had intended to make my usual wish, to find my soulmate, but the thought that forms my mind is about Aaron instead. Well, I suppose this wish is just as important. I want Aaron to be happy, even without my soulmate. I want him to find happiness, to be able to smile every day with nothing but pure joy, to be with a girl who's deserving of his affection and kindness, someone who will love him in return. Despite my genuine desire to see Aaron happy, it's difficult to ignore the growing feelings of jealousy and anger growing in my chest, making my heart feel like it weighs 1,000 tons. Jealousy at the thought of the faceless girl who will be under the veil, walking down the aisle to awaiting Aaron one day. Anger at the thought of Aaron directing his affections towards someone who isn't me. But why? Aaron chooses that moment to let out a particularly loud snore that sounds more like a snorting pig, and I raise my head in shock, giggling. You're an idiot. I keep my whisper quiet enough not to wake Aaron, and he doesn't even stir, still peacefully sleeping the night away. Just like that, I realize the answer. Jesus Christ. Aaron, I really do like him, don't I? I guiltily chuckle somewhere in my instant reflexive denial, even my own mind to nobody but myself. You can admit it, Valerie. You love him. The admittance feels like a relief, a burden off my shoulders, and my laughter grows relaxed, joyous even. I can't believe it took me so long to realize. But when? I can't pinpoint at a time, a while perhaps. Clearly I wouldn't have been so worried about soulmates in the red string of fate, and told Aaron about the biggest secret of my life if I weren't at least a little attached. Okay, a lot attached. I've lived with these strings for 18 years of my life. There's no other reason for me to have randomly started revisiting the thoughts of doubts that I concluded back when I was a child. Even when I was still young, I had already decided that no matter what, I was going to find my soulmate. I had already decided to make up my mind and made myself firmly believe that he was out there. He must be. Luke's appearance, followed by my growing friendship with Aaron, triggered these fears within me, to expound until they can no longer be ignored. They have caused me countless headaches, endless sleepless nights, yet in the end, I'm grateful. Only now do I realize how my life thus far has been fretted by those thoughts, the worries about missing out on what everyone else seemed to have within reach. But no more. Admitting I'm in love with Aaron, letting go of my stubborn faith in the existence of my soulmate. It all feels almost like a relief, like this burden of the world I didn't realize I've been carrying has been lifted off my shoulders. Yes, red strings of fate exist. Yes, soulmates exist. But the truth is my own red string of fate is invisible. And if as much as I wish I have a soulmate, I have no way of knowing for sure. I shouldn't deprive myself of love, a happily ever after with the man I treasure, because of a stranger whom I can't even guarantee exists. I love Aaron, and I don't know if he loves me, but he likes me back. Perhaps, for the first time in my life, I'll let myself date like a normal girl would, without caring about the status of his or my string. I'm going to risk the relationship, and I'll be damned happy to do so. If I ever journey abroad in the future, it won't be to pursue someone non-existent lover who may already have found a spouse of his own by then. I take a deep breath, feeling my heart skip a beat as I gaze up and down upon Aaron's peaceful, sleeping face. He really has grown so precious to me, almost without my realizing. I tell Aaron about my feelings after the finals. Not now, because I can't afford to distract myself from studying. I don't want to distract Aaron from his. How exactly will I confess to him, though? Of that, I'm not sure yet. Well, I suppose I still have a few more days to think about it here and there. I'm sure it'll work out. I hope. A yawn escapes my lips, although I struggle to contain it. Slowly, I begin to drift off myself. In my fatigue, my jumbled thoughts about Red String's soulmates intermingle, then fade away. I'm glad I thought about it long enough, often enough. It's time to be free, at least temporarily. I never believed I'd think it, but I almost feel grateful for the fatigue for pushing such thoughts away. I close my eyes, and everything goes dark, but the darkness feels almost warm and welcoming. Happy, even. It's not consciously that I lean my head against Aaron's shoulder, but it feels right in any case, and intended. Dully, I know that the lights are still on, but I can't bring myself to care. I'm not going to sleep. I'm only going to keep my eyes closed for a quick break, and only for a few minutes at that. Just a few minutes. Just a few. Nice try. I groan with exhaustion, hating everything about my life at this moment. I guess on the bright side, I'm finally done with my final exam for that stupid generals class. On the not-so-bright side, that was the worst 3 hours of my life. Aaron waves at me as soon as I exit the building, and I smile in surprise, walking up to him. Hey, were you waiting for me? Don't flatter yourself. I was. Just watching the landscape. What landscape is there to watch? Our campus isn't even that pretty, and we see this place way more frequently than we'd like. You could be honest, you know. Oh, come on, Vel. Like I pretend to be a coy or whatever. Pfft, you're ridiculous. Like that's any news. Sorry it took so long. Hard test. How did it go for you? Okay, I guess. I hated that class. Although the project with you and Luke wasn't bad. Me too. But it's the class that brought us together. I'm almost sad it's over. Yeah? Me too. How'd it go for you? Okay. I'm sure I'll get an A for the class, at least. That's not okay, Val. That's great! I mean, all I need is a C in the final. Bragger, I needed an 87.23%. That's incredibly specific. Better specific than being unprepared and getting a grade not docked because of a 0.23% on your final, right? Sure. After a pause, I gesture roughly towards the dark circles under his eyes. All-nighter? Too many. You too? Of course. Colleges are probably subsidies. I know this word, I can't pronounce it ever. Can never pronounce it. Are probably subsidized by those energy drinks companies or something. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lull in our conversation, neither of us knowing what to say. A part of it's fatigue from cramming so long, but another part of me is my own anxiety over my decision, although I'm not sure why Aaron looks so tense himself. The semester is over now, after all, and I decided I would confess to Aaron today. But how? I still haven't decided what exactly to say and how to say it. We haven't given him his pizza yet. How about I love you with the pizza? That could work, right? Aaron speaks up before I can form the words that nag at me. So, huh? We live nearby. Like, close. We went to the same high school, so unless you moved, we lived in the same city. I didn't move. Slowly, what he's trying to say so awkwardly dawns on me. I find myself chuckling lightly. Do you want to hang out during the break? Of course, if you want. No pressure. I want to, Aaron. Don't worry. If you want, that is, no pressure. Of course, I never say no. Another beat of silence rings through the air, and I know it's not time for me to speak. Listen, Aaron. Yes? I chuckle at how nervous he sounds. He's like a wind-up doll, wound too tight for his own good. I'm the one confessing, you idiot. Why are you so tense and jittery? The words escape my lips before I can properly form them in my head and think them through. You like me, don't you? Oh no, that probably wasn't what I was supposed to say. Aaron immediately goes beet red and averts his gaze. I like you too, you know. What? For a brief moment, I wonder if I should give him time to process my words, and more importantly, figure out what the heck I'm going to say first. Did I decide? To hell with it. My feelings for him almost feel spontaneous, the way it crept up on me so slowly that I couldn't notice it until it was already way too late to forget about it. It's fitting that the confession be spontaneous, too. I love you, Aaron. I do. Everything about you, even your unending obsession with games. But what about your soulmate? I'm surprised I'm saying this, and even more surprised I actually think about it. But again, I love you. I can't throw away a potential for a relationship with you for some meager chance at an intangible love that may not even exist. Val! My stomach twists itself into knots, but I force myself to sound casual, the light smile on my lips a stark contrast to how I feel inside. Does Val mean, yes, I'll date you, or no, thank you, this is awkward, I'll be leaving now? It means, Val, shame on you! You beat me to it! Beat you to what? Confessing! I was going to confess to you as soon as finals were over! I would have done it much earlier, but I didn't want to distract you from your studies. So I was going to wait until the semester was over. Ah, two great minds think alike. The rush of relief almost causes my knees to weaken, and I can almost laugh out loud from the pure joy that courses through me. Not quite knowing how to respond, I can only crack a joke, making fun of his addiction to games as usual. You were distracting me enough with your pleas for playing games together. Aaron grins, the relief blatant on his face. That's not distraction, that's relaxation, and I wouldn't have gnawed at you offended or something. Offended? Where would I have been offended? Well, when I'm not a nervous wreck. Point taken. Hey, you weren't supposed to agree. It's hard not to agree to the truth. Anyway, Val. Aaron takes a deep breath, steadying himself. I love you too. I didn't expect it to happen, but it did, and I do. I'm saying this even though you already know, because, well, you said you knew I liked you. There's a difference, and maybe it's petty of me to be correcting you, but you took my spotlight, so I think it's unfair. Not that I'm not relieved and super grateful you did, but still, at least let me not admit to being cowardly. I love you. It's not like what I felt for Irene or Maddie or Chase or anyone. They captured my interest, yeah, I thought they were gorgeous and I thought they were nice, but that was about where it ended. I loved the concept of them more than anything. When I thought about them, which was surprisingly rare in retrospect, I thought about what they'd do for me. They'd finally let me be in a relationship with somebody. They'd be company. They'd be someone to play games with no matter the time of day. It was ridiculous. My feelings for them were so deliberate. Like, remember Maddie from high school? I nodded in amusement, wondering where he's going with this. Who even brings up their old crushes in the middle of the declaration of love? True. Erin, I suppose. Also true. She was sweet and pretty, but I felt nothing for her until the day she mentioned she adored Final Fantasy. I became a stammering fool whenever I talked to her after that moment. It was instant, instinctive, unbelievable, because it was fake. But there's nothing that makes me happier than making you smile, than seeing you happy. It's different with you now that the feelings are genuine. When I'm not confessing, I don't even stammer and blush like a toddler in front of you, the way I always do. Though my feelings are indefinitely greater. It took me a while to realize I liked you because of how different it felt. So by the time I realized, I was already in love with you. He blushes then, ducking his head in an endearing gesture. How did you know, though? Was I really that obvious? I mean... I smirk and Aaron grimaces, listening and giggle for me. Oh god, I didn't think it was obvious, but it was, wasn't I? When did you figure it out? That day at the computer lab with the red strings. But I told you it was a platonic! That's not something friends do with friends unless they want something more. But... No buts. It worked out for us, though, didn't it? I doubt I'd have analyzed my own thoughts about you if it hadn't happened, so it was for the best. I can't believe you've known that long and never told me. I mean, what was I supposed to tell you? Hey, Aaron, I know you like me. That's literally what you did just now when you confessed to me. Well, it's time to shut you up. What? With that, I tiptoe up to kiss him. He freezes for a moment, and I can feel his heartbeat quickening from my proximity. He slowly, steadily responds, and I grin. Aww. I yawn and stretch as I wake up. Immediately, I feel a slight tug from my pinky finger. I rub my eyes and glance at my hands. There's a red string knotted over my finger. I stare at it for a while, knitting my brows, then laugh as everything clicks. Oh, of course, I should have figured. A week ago, just in time for my 2-week vacation from work, Luke randomly gave me round-trip tickets and a key to some vacation home he had near a secluded but beautiful beach. It had been completely unwarranted, but when I refused, he argued that I looked like I desperately needed a break. While I was confused, who was I to refuse an overseas trip a second time? Yeah. I collapsed on the bed and slept a long, long time as soon as I arrived. So it seems Luke gave someone else a key too. I stand up, preparing as quickly as I can, and head out the door, following the trail set for me by the red string. I follow, and... You see this loser, what the hell? Soon enough, a masked man stands before me, visibly blushing wherever he isn't covered. I try my best to feign surprise and nervousness, although I'm not sure I'm succeeding. Oh my, a red string on my finger leading to a man! Who could you be? Your soulmate, perhaps? Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot this was mentioned. Totally not Aaron. Oh, I forgot. Oh, that's beautiful. Totally not Aaron, guys. Totally not. Oh my god, he took it off. It was Aaron the whole time. Oh my god, who would have guessed in a million years that was totally Aaron underneath that mask. Totally. He takes off his mask, revealing the man I knew would be underneath from the near moment I woke up. I giggle in bliss anyway. Aaron. Not surprised to see me? How could I be? Now, happy on the other hand. Listen, Val. I love you so much. More than you can believe. I thought I loved you back in college, and I did, but the feelings have only grown, and that is nothing compared to what I was feeling for you now. Perhaps when we're 16, 70, and 80, I'll think of what I'm feeling for you now is nothing too, even if I think it is possible. I love your voice, your smile, the way you laugh, your optimism, your determination. I love the stories you tell, but I love the comfort I feel when you were snuggling up and silent too. I'd give up my games if that meant I could prove to you just how much I love you. He pauses and quickly whispers, Please don't make me give up my games. I will and I can't, but I don't actively want to. I don't blame him for feeling that. He clears his throat, ignoring my amused laugh. Anyways, you mean so much to me. As I throw back to the red strings of fate that we discussed so much back in college, he makes a small gesture at the red thread connecting our fingers. I don't know why you and Luke were born without the ability to see the strings. And I don't know why you don't have one yourself. Oh, I don't know why you and Luke were born without the ability to see the strings. I think it's supposed to be with the ability. That sounds a bit more accurate. In any case, it's clear that if anyone's fated for you, it isn't me. But so be it. I love you, and at this point in a relationship, I hope to God I'm not mistaken when I say you love me too. This is our life. We can create our own fate. Red strings? So what if I can't see them? What if you don't have one? We can make one ourselves. We can make it so we can see strings tying together. God damn it, Kitty, get out of here. Apologies, my cat was trying to cover the screen again. We can make it so we can see a string tying us together. Do you still not want to hear about the person on the other side of your string? The answer is pointless, since it'd be somewhat anticlimactic and sad to tell him his soulmate has passed away, but I can't help but ask. I'm sure they can find someone else. It'd be a shame if I sought out someone I didn't even love for merely some stupid string. For all I know, I'm one of the lucky ones with the broken string anyway. Now, please quit distracting me for 3 more seconds. I don't want to lose my focus and mess this up. Look at them, please. Don't they look almost like rings to you? So I thought they'd be good for... Will you marry me, Valerie? Don't worry, I have another ring in my pocket too, a real... Do you even have to ask me at this point? But what? Yes, of course I will. You will? Somehow Aaron's voice betrays more shock than all the surprise I felt today combined. He lifts me up into the air and swings me around, almost tripping in the process, but he catches himself just in time. All of this was unnecessary, but I'm so glad you went this far. Honestly, I'd have said yes over a cup of tea. Still, doing this felt important. Like, closure, maybe. Closure? For what? I hope you're not saying you want to close up our relationship just as it's beginning. Closure for the first chapter of our relationship. A new one is just beginning, much greater than the last, I hope. I hope so, too. I bend down as Aaron lowers me slightly. Our lips touch, and everything feels right. There's a familiar comfort in his lips, but my heartbeat quickens still. I open my eyes just briefly to look at the string that has fallen from her fingers, lying on the Matinius heap on the ground. Obviously, the string had to be incredibly long if it led all the way inside to our room for the beach, but it looks like he used up an entire skein? I meant to be skin of yarn. Whatever. As I close my eyes again, I think to myself that I should take up knitting so I can make something out of it. Wow, I'm having a hard time reading all of a sudden. Jesus. I'm botching up this ending, goddammit. As I close my eyes again, I think to myself that I should take up knitting so I can make something out of it for us. A memento. But the kiss soon deepens and such thoughts escape my mind instantly. The last thing I could think is that I know I've made the right decision in acting on my feelings for Aaron. I'm releasing myself from my perhaps imagined binds to my soulmate. After all, even if fate failed to give me a soulmate, that's alright. I found one for myself. And that is the end for Aaron's route. Or at least the happy ending. There is the bad ending, unfortunately, which we'll be exploring. So here's how you do it. Alright, back in the computer room, you write, put down, he must be mistaken. Here we are back at the restaurant, where we just lie and deny. It's just safer that way, because that's the way it is. Finally, last but not least, we say, we wish for our soulmate. I touched the little finger on my left hand softly, wishing for the millionth time that my string would become visible to me. As always, my prayer goes ungranted. Crushing disappointment creates a lump in my throat, which I have difficulty swallowing. Silly, Valerie, what did you expect? This is real life. Miracles don't happen. I'm not going to find my soulmate unless I get out there and find him myself. But I will. I know I will. Because I truly believe that my happiness is still waiting for me out there somewhere. As this thought forms, I realize the undeniable truth of that statement. Despite my recent doubts, despite my growing despair and uncertainties, I'm not going to. I can't just give up like this, without even trying. Perhaps Aaron's and Luke's appearances have amplified the fears that have always been with me, the worries that I don't have a soulmate, the anxiety that I won't be able to find my soulmate. But in the end, this faith I've built up over the last 18 years can't be shattered that easily. No, I have to find a way out myself, through traveling to the ends of the earth to find my soulmate. Only if I fail will I then truly admit defeat, which I don't believe will happen anyway. As for Aaron, a pang of guilt rushes through me. I know he loves me, even if I want to, I can't let myself be with him. Aaron deserves someone better. Even if he doesn't have a soulmate, he deserves someone who loves him. Someone else with a broken string, perhaps. Someone who can love him wholeheartedly. Someone not me, because my heart has long been captured by someone I haven't met yet. The time for doubts is gone now. Instead, the time for hope begins anew. I take a deep breath. I should let Aaron down before he gets too distracted, before my rejection was disheartening him too much. Shaking my head, I decide to tell him after finals. Not now, because I can't afford to distract myself from studying, and I don't want to distract Aaron from his. But I really should let him down gently after the exams, although I'm not sure how to go about it yet. Since he hasn't even confessed to me, I can't tell him he's been incredibly obvious. Well, I suppose I still have a few more days to think about it here and there. A yawn escapes my lips, although I struggle to contain it. Slowly, I begin to drift off myself. In my fatigue, my jumbled thoughts about red strings and soulmates intermingle, then fade away. Nonetheless, I am sure I'll be revisiting these thoughts tomorrow when I'm less groggy. Or after finals, perhaps. Close my eyes and everything goes dark, but the darkness feels almost warm and welcoming. Happy. I don't intend to lean my head against Erin's shoulder, but when I finally realize what my head is resting on, I'm too tired to move, completely exhausted by my life-changing realization earlier. And perhaps selfishly, I can't help but indulge in this closeness with Erin once more, because I fear that this will change once I reject Erin's feelings explicitly. Dully, I know that the lights are still on, but I can't bring myself to care. I'm not going to sleep. I'm only going to keep my eyes closed for a quick break, and only for a few minutes after that. Just a few minutes. Just a few. And with that, we get the final ending. The car rolls as it continues to drive, and the silence is oddly unnerving. How strange. It used to be comfortable before I left. I suppose it can't be helped. How long was I gone again? It surprised me when Erin offered to pick me up at the airport. I didn't have international calling or texting, and it was rare that I was motivated enough to respond to any emails or talk to people using video chat. Over the years, I had drifted apart from nearly everyone I knew from school. Thanks again for the ride. No problem, Val, really. It's been a long time. I've missed you. Yeah, I missed you too. Did you? His voice falters, and the unsaid question hangs in the air, too obvious for me not to understand. Did you find him? Your soulmate? Perhaps he realized that I had been chattering away in happiness if I succeeded. No, but thank you for asking. So after college, she went on her trip to find her soulmate on the other side of the world, but she had no luck finding him. And so that's why this ending is a little bit more depressing. I can't hide the disappointment from my voice. Despite all the time I've had to wallow in grief, the lack of fated lover by my side is still... I've traveled from and to so many places, yet my string always remained invisible, if not non-existent. At this point, I've grown resigned to the fact that I probably do not have a soulmate. Or he hasn't even been born yet, but that's a train of thought I will never pursue. Or he hasn't even been... Never pursue. What about you? How has life been the last few years? Wow, have years already passed since I first left America in search of my soulmate? Boring. I wish you'd been here to liven things up. I'm teasing, Val. I think it's super incredible that you really went abroad for so many years. Not everyone can save up that much money in so short a time. Thank you. Luke and I are still close. We hang out sometimes. Although our wealth gap terrifies me whenever I visit his grandparents' mansion. Oh, so you visit Luke's house frequently now? Come on, Val. I don't like the way you said that just now. I giggle and the atmosphere between us begins to warm. We talked about you a lot. Only good things, I hope. Well... Oh, come on. I'd smack you if you weren't driving. Threatening me with a smile, huh? Time has certainly made a wicked woman out of you. Wicked? What about you? Time has turned you into a gossip according to your own words. That's not fair. I was kidding. Of course, all we say about you are compliments. Oh, now you're just a liar. I'm not a... That, too, is a pretty clear lie. You didn't even let me finish my sentence. I'm an alien, remember? Maybe I can read minds. I immediately flush and remember and berate myself. What if Erin doesn't remember? It has been years after all since that incident. How embarrassing. What if... To my relief, he immediately chortles and the tension leaves my body. Thank God I wasn't the only one who still recalls such old memories. Yeah, an alien from Asia, I remember. You know what I also remember? No? What? I remember... Erin and I spent the rest of the trip reminiscing about our shared memories from high school through college, and soon enough, we're filling the car ride with fond chortles and excited chattering. I'm not sure what to do now. Find a new job, of course, but what about my personal life? Will I ever find a lover? Marry? Have children? I don't know, and I'm not ready yet. But I do know that one day I may find someone to cherish, and if possible, I think I'm going to pursue that desire. Maybe someday in the distant future. Who knows? Maybe I'll meet that person abroad if I decide to miss the foreign nations enough to revisit. a reflection of my original goal of finding my soulmate overseas. For now, I'm just happy I have Aaron by my side as a friend to help me reorient to a stationary life at home. So yeah, a bit downer, but a bit optimistic at least. With Lux, we get the good ending where we are engaged to him, and then the bad ending, he joins us in finding our soulmate. Which is like, that's really hopeful and optimistic. This one also has its hopeful, optimistic way, but it's definitely the bad one, I would say. The bad ending. But yeah, I really like this game. Rest in peace, Ebullience, the people who made this game. Rest in peace. Really surprised me that they actually shut down. But, yeah, a pretty good game. Apologize to viewers who are not going to have the chance to play this. It's a really enjoyable story. I personally like it. The artwork's not too bad. Again, not a lot of choices that affect anything. That's also a gripe I have with this game, is majority of your choices don't matter until the final few choices, and then it matters all of a sudden. But anyway, this has been Let's Play the Red String of Fate. I am Terry the Fox, you are the viewer, and I hope to see you in other Let's Play projects. Until then, I'll see ya.